Yo, welcome to Sprawl and Brawl. Sprawl and Brawl, did I say that right? It's episode number 29. We are the show about MMA and UFC and all that goodness. Sometimes about wrestling, but a little bit less nowadays. It's Thursday, December 8th. It's already December 8th. How the hell is that happening? 2016, of course. I am Wildmat, your host / producer. Megaswitcher.com is the website you want to go check out for all our shows and VODs. You can also find us wherever you can find podcasts, such as the podcast app on iOS and whatever other podcast apps they have on Android there. And then the Megaswitcher TV is our YouTube channel, so go check that out. We'll let you know whenever we're live. That's also where we stream everything, including a few other shows produced by Mac 19 PM, such as Removed from Play and the Standby Phase. A bunch of those games like that. Alright. So now let's go on to the first news item here for MMA this week. It's a pretty easy one. It's all about the results for the Ultimate Finale here. So this card was actually pretty good overall. The two main events, the two co-main events of the night were really good. So here you go. Let's talk about the results here. I forgot my fade on. Whoops. Okay. So the Ultimate Fighter 24 finale was a tournament featuring a bunch of flyweights deciding who would be the number one contender for Demetrius Johnson's title. Well, Tim Elliott won that tournament during the show. Joseph Benavidez and Henry Cejudo were the two coaches, and they fought as the co-main event of the night. I don't have any notes here, but I can point out some highlights here. Dun Young Kim defeated Brendan O'Reilly in an underwhelming fight here. Dun Young Kim is a little bit of a firecracker. He just destroys mofos, and he did not do that. No such mofo destroying in this fight here. He won by decision, unanimous, 29-28 all around. It was an okay fight. He came out to some G-Dragon, which I popped out for. He came out to some good old K-pop. Actually, yeah, it was G-Dragon and Top. It's a good song. Oh man, which one was it? I forget. Zigger, something like that. So it's something like that. I forget what it's called exactly. Other notable fights here. Rob Font with a huge KO over Matt Schnell in the first round. That was a good one. Anthony Smith also did a pretty cool elbow to Elvis Mutapchik in the second round to defeat him there. I don't like Jorge Masvidal versus Jake Ellenberger was pretty good. Like Masvidal, what a crazy mofo that guy is. Like he's on a tear lately. I don't know if you give him a title shot soon, like welterweight. I don't know. It's kind of a weird weight class right now. I don't know where you go with that, but hey. And then the Joseph Benavidez fight versus Henry Cejudo, they gave it to Benavidez there. It was an interesting fight to judge because I think you could have given it to Henry Cejudo, to be honest. One judge did anyways. 29-27 he did. One judge gave it 30-26, and to me that's fucking insane. I don't know what fight that judge was watching, but man, that's crazy. And then the main event, Demetrius Johnson, he looked like he was in trouble early on versus Tim Elliott a few times. I don't know if I would say that this was his biggest test, but it was definitely a test. It's not like his other fights where he was pretty decisively the winner. He definitely won unanimously, 49-46. Like one guy gave it even 49-45. Don't know if I exactly see it that way, but hey, it's a good night of fights there. It's a good little night of fights. Good Ultimate Fighter finale. It did okay in the ratings too, considering that it was Demetrius Johnson, and even it was two flyweight fights as the main events. Usually those don't do so good. So the MMA, the Mixed Martial Arts Athletic Association, is that what Athletes Association? It's something. So yeah, they've been in the news this week. They revealed themselves last week as a union fighting against UFC and wanting more money for fighters and stuff like that. So Donald Cerrone was revealed to be on the board, and he had no idea. He was a representative for this Mixed Martial Arts Association, Athletes Association, and he pretty much said so. And he had a meeting with Dana White today. I don't know if there's any news about that, but hey, there you go. He had no idea. He's not very happy that Bjorn Rebney is part of that association. So we'll see where that goes. Great start for that association. They've also been sent a cease and desist by the UFC, and he said, "Hell nah," which makes sense. Why would you stop that? But it's interesting because the UFC got bought by WMG IMG. Is that WME IMG, which represents actors and entertainers and all that stuff. They're an agency, and every fighter that's in the MMA is pretty much a fighter that's represented by the other side. So they're at odds with each other. It's a shit show, and I don't know where it's going to end up. So stay tuned, I guess, to see where that goes. And then GSP and the UFC are apparently negotiating once again. Maybe. I don't know if that's entirely true now. Dana White earlier today said that he was willing to do more money for GSP. And GSP even spoke yesterday with the Canadian press. I don't know if it was TSN or something, or it couldn't have been Sportsnet. They don't really do MMA anymore, but whatever. One of those. Somewhere. He was somewhere talking about UFC. And he said that he was in negotiation again with the UFC, but today his agent said, nah, he misspoke. So yeah, there you go. That Toronto card is going to be brutal. It's not going to do that well in the pay-per-view numbers. And look, there's UFC fans in Toronto. There's going to be people going to it for sure. But if they would have had GSP on that card, imagine how many more people would have watched it. It would have been like 1 million more people would have watched that stuff. It would have been insane. But no, they already did the weigh-ins and stuff. I don't know how the attendance was for that stuff. I did not hear anything about that. But yeah, it's disappointing. John Jones has reached an agreement with the Athletic Commission in Nevada, and now he can pretty much fight in a year, retroactively to when the ban started. So I think it's like late summer next year he can fight again. So hooray. And our last news item here is that terrible Toronto card I was just talking about. It's not that it's a bad card. It's just not amazing. And you know what? There's a card right here. Let's talk about this card. There's a card in Albany, New York the day before. And the main event is Derek Lewis versus Shamil Abdurakhimov. And what the fuck is this card? They said they were going to do 2 New York State cards this year. And I guess they're just fulfilling that promise. But man, this card is brutal. There's no one. The co-main event is Francis Ngannou versus Anthony Hamilton. That fight could be all the fights on the main card could be all right, but man, that's brutal. Anyways, let's talk about UFC 206. That fight, at least that's free on TV, right? It's not a pay-per-view. Mitch Gagnon was fighting here on the TV prelims to start it off right there. John Makdessi versus Lando Venata. That's going to be a good fight right there on the early prelims on Fight Pass there. That's the main event. Jason Sago versus Rostam Hablov. Also on the early prelims. Valerie Letourneau versus Viviane Pereira on the TV prelims. Drew Dober versus Olivier Aubin-Mercier. That's going to be a good fight too. And then the main event, Max Holloway and Anthony Pettis, is for the interim featherweight championship, which is another thing I don't think we talked about. So they stripped Conor McGregor of the flyweight belt, right? Whoops, I actually didn't mean to do that. Let's just get rid of that. yeah, they stripped Conor McGregor of the belt, which is interesting. Makes no sense to me. They only stripped it because DC got injured for this event, right? And he's not going to be fighting at this event now, which is fine, but they need a new main event, and apparently the new brass at the UFC thinks that they need, like, they need, I don't even know. I guess they feel like they need a championship match as the main event, which is just stupid. It's stupid. Take Conor McGregor's belts off of him. He'll sell just as much. I don't. Anyway, so DC versus Rumble Johnson was supposed to be the main event. DC got injured. Anthony Pettis and Max Holloway was the co-main event, 3 rounds for no title. And now it's a 5-round fight with a title. They could have fought 5 rounds, main event, no title. Perfectly fine. They were talking about stripping Conor McGregor of the title anyway. So it's all of this was coming. It was Donald Cerrone versus Matt Brown is a co-main event there. Tim Kennedy versus Kevin Gastelum also on the main card. Gus Johnson versus Du Ho Choi. And then Jordan Mee versus Emil Weber Meek. Emil Meek is pretty good. I mean, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I don't know what to say about this card. It's a fine card. It's just not a crazy, amazing card. They could have, like, especially when you come into Canada, like, you gotta, I'm not going to say you got to stack that card heavy with Canadians because we don't care. The last few events in Toronto were all John Jones headlined, and they were fine, except for that first one was a GSP one. But the John Jones headline Toronto cards were all amazing. The Toronto crowd, very, very split on John Jones. A lot of cheering, but a lot of fucking booing in Toronto too. So, yeah, anyways, that'll do it for this week in terms of MMA news and stuff. The card this weekend looks good, but honestly, I'm looking forward to the card next weekend even more. The card next weekend, man, insane stuff. Should we even just look at it real quick? Maybe we should just look at it here. Let me scroll this page here. Where is that? All right, Paige Van Zandt versus Michelle Waterson is the goddamn main event. But then, that's not even just the card that has me excited on this. You have Pretty Boy, Sage Northcutt versus Mickey Gall as the co-main event. And Uriah Faber's bye fight here, Brad Pickett against Brad Pickett. And then Alan Jaban versus Mike Perry, rounding out the main card on Fox. And this is a card on Fox too. So it's 8 p.m. Eastern time start time, and it ends around 10:30. That's amazing. It's amazing. I love when those cards start at 8 and end at 10:30. I don't feel like I'm dead at the end of it. It's amazing. But that card is way better. Like, in my opinion, it's way better. It's free. It's on Fox. If you live anywhere near a major city, you don't even need to live near a major city, just a city in general, and you have a bunny ear antenna connected to your TV, you can watch that on CTV or Fox in HD, and it'll look better than anywhere else. There's a few services in Canada, like Bell Fibe. I feel like Bell Fibe, the TV runs through the internet, and their feeds all look amazing. I usually can see compression on everything, especially cable and satellite. Cable, just some channels that compression's crazy. I remember watching hockey on Sportsnet and then watching hockey on RDS, and the RDS feeds were just not as good looking as the Sportsnet feeds because, Rogers, they own Sportsnet, and yeah. But yeah, you can watch that shit over the air, free. You don't even need to own cable. It's Fox Sports 1 or TSN. It's over the air. And you can watch two ladies that are, really pretty, but they're hype. I've loved Michelle Waterson forever, and Paige Van Zandt, she's a fighter. She's determined, and she doesn't give up. Like, she might not be the best, but man, she goes out there and delivers most of her fights anyways. And that, man, how can you not like Mickey Gall and Sage Northcutt? That fight is going to be just straight up insane. Like, oh, such a good fight. Yeah, Whoops. That's going to end it for us here, though. Thanks for tuning in. We're here every Thursday. Check us out where you can find podcasts. megascripture.com is a place you can go to check us out on pretty much everything. Everywhere where podcasts are found, you can do that. If you're looking for the video version of our show, it's all up on our YouTube channel, Megascripture TV, and that's where the live show happens as well, every Thursday night. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you guys next time.